Okay, at long last, I think it's finally going to be one of those episodes. So, man, let's see what happens. That the first team was very, very good, man. They just knew what they had to do. Even when it came down to like crunch time, they understood that there was some things they needed to work out and smooth out and really get more accurate if they wanted to have a good performance. And they prioritized their practice around these certain aspects to make them as good as they could possibly be, and it worked. Like, you know what I mean? It worked, and they gave an amazing stage performance. So, oh my goodness, let's see how the other two teams will do. I think overall, there's like you're still gonna see good performances. Like, I don't think anything's gonna be necessarily that bad. You know what I mean? It's just that you're trying to be the best. It's very much like you have to be very, very like on the high end. Like, you don't want to make mistakes. You don't even want to like technically be correct in everything, but not have the best, like, most entertaining performance. So this is very, very, very narrow, right? This sort of margin of error.
次のチーム出てください。
Oh, interesting. Looks like they could be doing what, Stray Kids or something? Just going off the look, maybe, among other groups, but
チーム紹介してください。
この圧迫感、どうやって乗り越えれば4人が一つになればきっと大丈夫。このパワーで、迫力で、歌声で、スピードで、ハルケリーヘイ。僕たちはオールフォーワンです。よろしくお願いします。
この曲が難易度は一番高いです。
wow. Which one is it? It's interesting who the leaders are too, right? The way it's changed up.
もう全部最初から最後までダンスもバーンなってるから、最後まで体力つきやんと最後までなんていうの、やりきるっていうか、踊りきっても勢いをもう最後まで持っていくって感じ。そうしたいこの曲で。
後半で落ちたら意味ないもんね。
うん、そうそうそう。体力が大事。
잠깐만요. 스탑. 왜 그렇게? 누가 그렇게 의무감에 하드캐리를 하면 어떡해. 이거 지금 노래 제목이자 노래의 주제이기도 하잖아. 근데 여기서 이 시작점을 이렇게 임팩트 없이 할 거야?
하드캐리 헤이. 하드캐리.
소리 더 좁히고 포지션 더 높아야 돼. 잠깐만 선생님. 안무가 네 랩에 맞춰서 지금 포인트를 주고 있는데 몸이랑 입이랑 안 맞으면 안 된다고 했어.
하드캐리 헤이. Let it flow now. 늘어다 나. 하드캐리 헤이. 늘어다 나. 텐션 올려. 하드캐리 헤이. 하드캐리 헤이. 하드캐리 헤이.
So it's not, because it's interesting, right? What she said is like, do you want to come out that strong? and really off the vocal because there's only a couple of movements in the beginning. So it's not just that it's a challenging, like a physically challenging, but trying to match the expression of the concept requires a lot of specific attention to detail. And so that's the thing that makes this particularly difficult as a stage.
지금 억지로 계속 힘만 계속 주고 있어. 그러니까 벌써 2절에서부터는 또 텐션이 죽어버리지. 그렇게 되면 안 돼. 오케이?
今回のハードキャリーの曲がダンスも激しくて激しいダンスをしながらも歌でもその勢いっていうのが大事で前半から後半にかけて勢いとかそういうのが全部なくなってしまうような気がして
危機感とか焦りっていうのをすごい感じました。
Particularly a challenge for Sodai, right? I mean, not that he can't dance, but he's a stronger vocal. Like if he was going to lean into anything, it would be the vocals. He's like, no, I want to sing, right? Like I'll do that as a strength. So it is particularly challenging for him, and he's actually the trainee, the one that already has the trainee experience. Man, it's crazy, but it's a good song though. Like it's a great song. So at the same time as you're like, oh, these groups are also legendary, but it's like, do they have to be so good, right? Because like I have to match that now. But it's in the expression.
Let it flow now. Do the da now.
So I think you can, in other words, you can get more mileage if you use the expression. You can save some of your energy. You could reserve some of that power if you learn how to really nail the expression on it.
지금 둘은 똑같아. 둘은 지금 춤은 괜찮은데 목소리가 답답해. 에지도 똑같고 유이도 똑같아. 그리고 타이가는 빠르게 탁탁탁탁 이런 느낌이 너무 없는 거야 지금 팔다리에. 그래서 네가 생각을 내가 이 정도 스피드로 이렇게 팔다리를 움직여갖고는 안 된다는 생각을 네가 해야 될 것 같아. 지금 별로 안 좋아지고 있어. 소다이는 어떤 음정을 낼 때 크레센도로 내는 버릇을 고쳐야 돼. 다 이렇게 밀어서 내는데 이게 되게 노래를 둔하게 들리게 한단 말이야. 이렇게 하나하나 조심하고 생각해서 부르는 게 아니라 막 불러야 돼. 처음에 안무 어떻게 시작하지? 서봐. 이거 다 했고 돌았고 그 다음에 자 뻗을 때도 팔꿈치 손 그다음에
僕がこのチームのリーダーなんですけど
그때도 또
そのパークさんからそういう指摘をもらった時も自分のせいでこうなってるんだっていう考えになってしまってすごく不安だったし
감사합니다. 안녕히 계세요.
心配なチームです。ダンスと歌が全部不安定で心配しますね。
ボーカルについて指摘をいただいたんですけどあまりいい言葉をもらえなかったので、自分がここで落ちてしまったらどうしようっていう不安とか
もしかしたら自分がこの舞台が最後になる可能性もありますし
正直言うと僕のチームのメンバーの、順位がその低めなところにいるのでやっぱり1位じゃないと今は許されない状況なのででもその自分のマインドを変えていかないといけないなっていうのが リーダーとしての責任感があって、チームのその全部のそのところまで見れてないっていうのがあって。
オッケー、ストップ。まあ一番でしょ、ここなんかもっとなんかね、足パッパッとやってほしい。エイジがさ、こうやってきて、ここあるやん。ここなんかここまで行ってないから、みんなタイガとそうだよ、ここまでやってんだよね。
もっと、チームを良くするためにっていう考え方をして、これからの練習をもっと効率よくっていうか。
Alright. I mean, that's really
今やっ
good.
ているもっと2倍以上でやらないといけないんだなっていうのをJ.I. パークさんの言葉をいただいて、すごいそれが感じられて、
そこは何回も繰り返し練習しながら体に覚えさせるしかないのかなって思います。
あとは筋トレとか体力を伸ばすことにその重心を置いて、
体力トレーニングをたくさんしないといけないなっていうことを痛感しました。
ハードキャリーっていう曲で激しい振り付けや歌で
パークさんに思いを伝えたいなって思ってて、
練習の成果を絶対悔いの残らないように
舞台を終われればいいなと思います。
Oh man. Well, I dig the mindset. I dig, they got into the right space. They understand the mission. They understand the assignment. Let's see, man. Let's see.
さあ、ではやってみましょ
はい、お願いします。
かまそう、マジで。
ハルケリー、ヘイ！
ファイティー。
迫力すごそう、やっぱり。
Welcome to my world, let's do this. 이슈자적 길어범소 어딜 가도 분위기가 higher. 비행기 밖은 너무 시끄러워 quiet. Yeah, but everybody knows that. 하지만 아직 I'm 물론 hungry. 어떤 일에도 기죽지 않아. 이거나 단어로 부여패기. 나 한번 뜨면 게임도 정리돼. 원하는 게 전부 다 갖게 돼. 사는 법을 나는 눈으로 할리해. 하루 종일 해. Let's fly, can fly, can fly. Okay, I got this race. 내일은 걱정 마. 오늘은 내가 오직 널 하루 carry it. Hard carry it. Let it flow now. Hard carry it. Let it flow now. 들었다 나. Hard carry it. Hard carry it. Let it flow now. 들었다 나. Hard carry it. Hard carry it. 게임에서 진 적이 없어. 매번 그 적은 패션이 넘쳐. 거품이 살짝 긴 우리 노는 데는 앉는 실력 있는 camera. 분위기 패스볼 아이디는 저장. 많은 사람 오늘도 날 불러. 내가 끝나고 다시 비행기로 그를 보나긴 하지 내가 없어. 나 한번 뜨는 게임 다 정리돼. 원하는 걸 전부 다 갖게 돼. 나는 법을 알아 나는 누구 할 일에 하루 carry해. Let's fly again fly again fly again. I got this race. 내일이는 걱정 마. 오늘은 내가 오직 널 하루 carry해. 하루 carry해. Let it flow now. 들었다 나. Hard carry it. Hard carry it. Let it flow now. 들었다 나. Hard carry it. Hard carry it. If you wanna get this out of the way 아무 상관 말고 될 대로 되라 그래 yeah. 어둠 속에 반짝이는 I just want your mind I just want your mind How can I How to carry hay 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 Roll now How to carry hay How to carry hay How to carry hay
Yeah. All right, man. All right. Eiji, man, it seems to me that he keeps improving. His voice is really good for the rap parts, but also for the singing. Like Eiji can sing really good, man. Once he's like finds the pitch and everything, and he's on. When he's on, he's on. In other words, Taiga, I don't think he had, those issues. To me, and this is just, even comparing it to some of the earlier performances, but I think his movements were precise and fast, where there was speed and power required. That's what I saw. Most of the lines looked pretty clean across the group, like, the synchronization and everything. It was very, very, very close, man. Like, I don't see too many issues with that. Yuhi, really, really strong performance. Great vocal work as well. I mean, like, his parts, they were all very, very precise. He pretty much nailed it. Sodai, I think JYP might say something about those sort of like falsetto sounding lines. Like maybe he went a little too falsetto. I'm not sure. I was sort of really reading JYP's reaction on that. I think they sounded good. I think they could have had like more projection. I think he's going to say something about that. Like going too high into that falsetto range, you lose some of the body of the actual vocal projection there. But after that part, when you get that hard carry, hey, and then he comes in, that really powerful dynamic, he hit that pretty clean. Like that didn't sound flat to me at all. That sounded like it was dead on, and it had a great sustain on it. So when it comes to that highlight, like that peak of the song, he was able to do that very well. Overall, I mean, I think it was probably one of the best from Taiga so far. Eiji was, consistently as good as he has been. Yuhi, also very, very strong. Actually, really, really good vocal work from him. And Sodai did well also, man. I think that one spot that calls for those particularly higher pitched notes might be something about the projection on that. But let's see. It's a great song. It's a great stage. Like it has a great energy to it. The music, the strings.
正直中間チェック時一番心配したチームでした。でも中間チェック時指摘したところを 一人一人がどれだけ直そうとしたのか感じられます。
ありがとうございます。
素晴らしい方です。一番印象的なところはユイ君の発声です。僕は中間チェック時発声が良くなるべきだと話しましたよね。
はい。
どうやって直しましたか？
まずそう発声が悪くなってしまった理由が、発声自体悪いのもそうなんですけど、この曲が本当に激しくて、で後ろに行くうちにその体力がどんどんなくなっていって喉が締まってしまったんですけど、歌とダンスを一緒にする練習を本当に繰り返して体力をつけて発声を直しました。
에이지 쿤도 같은 걸 지적받았었죠. 물론 지금 유이 쿤 정도로 좋아진 건 아닌데 분명히 좋아지는 게 느껴졌어요.
It was clean, man. It was clean.
에이지 쿤과 댄스に本当に特別な素質があります。とっても素晴らしい方です。
ありがとうございます。
타이가 군은 사실 제가 정확하게 한 가지 말했죠. 춤출 때 팔다리 속도, 팔다리 속도가 빨라졌어요. 근데 그럼에도 중간중간에 나머지 4명 중에 약간씩 늦게 살짝 둔하게 움직이는 부분들이 보이는 것 같아요. 소다이코는 그 크레센도 하는 발성을 내가 고쳤으면 좋겠다고 했는데 그건 정말 잘 고쳤어요. 근데 여전히 조금 아쉬웠던 건 중간에 가성으로 딱 그 브릿지에서 노래할 수 있는 그 부분에서 조금만 더 뛰어난 걸 보여줄 수 있을 것 같은데 그 다음에 그 뒤에 또 애드립을 할 때 질를 때 그 두 부분에서 정말 모두를 쓰러뜨릴 수 있었거든요. 근데 그 부분이 살짝 좀 아쉽긴 했어요. 그러니까 이게 지금 계속 지금 본인이 이게 긴장을 하면 여기 목이나 이런 것들이 이제 힘이 들어가면서 노래가 자기 실력만큼 안 나오는데 혹시 지금 계속 이런 무대를 할 때 너무 긴장이 되는 건가요?
はい、僕が東京合宿の最後のミッションからずっとボーカルについて J.Y. パークさんにずっと指摘をいただいてるんですけど、自分が、虹の中でやっぱりボーカルで引っ張っていかないといけないっていう自分では思ってるんですけど、そこがずっと思い通りにならなくて、
でもチームとしては期待以上でした。素晴らしかったです。お疲れ様でした。
And it is more important as a team, like the group aspect of it, right? That's the point. That's the main thing that's going on here.
他のメンバーたちがそういうフィードバックをもらって、自分はすごくリーダーとしてとても悔しかったし、
But everybody did their best.
僕たちのチームも、チームとしてはいい評価をもらえたし、順位もいい方なんじゃないかなというふうに思います。
Yeah, they put in the time. They put in the work for sure. There's no question about that.
팀을紹介してください。
はい。ティッピョラン、トモヤ、ミラク、ユキ、ショーン、We are Star Kids! We are Star Kids! 僕たちは今日この日のために流れ星のようにこのステージへ舞い降りてきました。今日は覚悟を決めて今までの集大成をお見せします。よろしくお願いします。
So now we're gonna get that Stray Kids song. Okay.
ゆきくん、一番大変なところはどうでしたか？
正直僕たち4人ともすごい自信がダウンしている状態からスタートして、寝れないくらい心配したし、本当に大丈夫かなっていう心配な気持ちでいっぱいだったんですけど、
Wow.
ゆっくりじゃあせーの。うわー
これ本当に？
Oh.
ありがとうございます。
Wow, this is so recent.
すごい曲だからさ、正直こないと思ってたじゃん。人気も
Yeah.
すごかったし。
Sクラスという曲をもらって嬉しかったんですけど、でも反対
Like
に
of all Stray Kids songs, because this is so new still. This didn't come out that long
とか
ago.
は明るい曲しかやってなくて、この曲に合ったパフォーマンスをかっこよくできるかなとか不安もありました。
心配の方が大きいと思う。難しい、確かに。
Not enough speed. Just for Stray Kids.
좀 모니터를 많이 했으면 좋겠네. 뭐랄까 분위기라고 해야 되나? 그런 걸 좀 많이 봐야 될 것 같아. 뭔가 지금 약간 쌤이가 생각했을 때 뭔가 지금 약간 귀엽거든요, 얘들아. 이거 귀여우면 안 된다.
僕が初めてストレイキッズさんの曲やるんですけど、エナジティックとはまた違ったクールっていう違った一面っていうか、
そのストレイキッズさんが出す雰囲気だったり感じ、それを出せるかが少し心配で。
コリコリまたコリのちょっと
오케이. 자, 여기 뭐야? 오케이. 자, 여기 뭐야? 가사 읽어봐.
건만 보리
번지르르.
건만 번지르르.
스테이지 위에 짜들어 이건
同じシーンでも強くなったり弱くなったりっていうのがあって、
でしかもその発音が難しい上にとても速い、そしてラップも高音というところでそこが難しいなというふうに思いました。
Yeah. Yeah.
내가 볼 때 우리 팀 노래가 제일 어렵거든. 왜냐면 가사도 너무 많고 한국 사람 발음하기에도 너무 어려워.
그리고 스트레이키즈 곡 자체가 쉴 틈이 없잖아.
Yeah.
근데 안 되는 사람들은 본인이 개인 연습을 많이 해야 돼. 내 팀한테 방해되지 않게.
Oof.
발짓 득출난 게 발짓
The first class. Best of the best of.
Dude, it's this. I think this might actually be the highest difficulty level. You know what I mean? It's Stray Kids, and I'm surprised at how like a recent of a song. It's not like one that's been around for the past few years, and you know you're very like familiar with the sound, right? You're already there, kind of. So the vibe would be easier to catch. But this is such a recent song, and Stray Kids, yeah, they're the lyrics for sure, right? A lot of the vocal work is very, very like specific. It's intensely specific. And they'll use the Korean language, and then they'll also throw in English lines in there. So for them, they're like, holy, I mean, you know, like I gotta get the Korean pronunciation right, and then it's gonna switch to English for this, and then you know what I mean? Like it's like, oh man, yeah, this is intense. And then Stray Kids choreography, also very difficult, man. Like they don't do light work, you know what I mean? Even if it is something that's not like super acrobatic or something like that, the precision, the lines have to be so sharp to make it look good. Because as soon as you start, you know, letting something like, you know, it's going to throw the whole thing off, man. Like it's not going to work. It's got to be like, if it's straight, it's got to be like straight, man. And so it's very, very difficult. But this is a good team. Like they're young. They got it.
궁금한 게 쌤 있는데 춤을 최선을 다한 거야? 이게 처음에 딱 시작이 이게 빡 이게 너무 안 와요, 임팩트가. 그래서 쌤은 자꾸 별로로 가는 거야. 이리 봐봐. 얘들아 좀 자신 있게 해봐. 왜 이러는 거야? 너무 별로야.
주니이와 미라클 션.
自分では頑張ってたつもりでも結果が悪かったので周りからの印象も頑張ってない人なんだなっていうふうに思われてるかなと思って、
ショックだったんですけれども、確かに自分の実力不足っていうのも実感したし、
どんどん順位が落ちてしまってるからちょっともどかしい気持ちではありました。
気楽にやってみてください。はい。제일 중요한 건 이게 에너제틱한 건 맞지만 동시에 굉장히 여유 있게 보여야 돼. 그게 어려운 거야. 근데 유키는 지금 빠르고 세게 해야 될 때 혼자 약간 늦을 때가 있어. 반대로 미라코는 너무 딱딱해. 지금 쇼는 춤이 아직 그룹의 일원으로서 춤추는 느낌이 잘 안 나. 옆에 사람들을 주고받는 느낌이 너무 없어. 자기 거 하느라고. 여유를 갖고 호흡을 갖고 주위 사람들하고 같이 この曲を4人が一緒に表現しているという思いが大事です。
Man.
頑張って。
ありがとうございました。감사합니다. 여보세요.
It's not an easy song.
質問したいことが一つあるんですけど、なんかダンスのレッスンを受けるときに自信がないっていうふうにすごいフィードバックをもらうんですけど、どうすれば自信を持ってパフォーマンスできるようにするんですか？
참 결국 자신은 선생님이 너 이런 부분이 부족해라고 했는데 네가 그거를 고쳐낸 다음에 그걸 찍어서 네가 고쳐진 걸 볼 때 그때 자신감이 생기는 거지. 부족한 부분을 고쳐내면 돼. 거기서 자신감이 오는 거니까. 그래서 억지로 자신감은 누구도 못 가져.
안녕히 계세요. 감사합니다.
내가 볼 때는 지난번에 이제 최하 수인을 받으니까 더 안 되는 거야. 더 자신감을 더 잃고 더 안 되고 약간 악순환에 빠질 수 있어서 걱정이네.
But it can also be fixed. Can also flip that.
パークさんにエナジーはあるけど余裕がないって言われちゃって、あと短期間で何ができるかなって思った時にやっぱり気持ちの問題っていうか、余裕ができるくらい何回も繰り返して練習しないといけないなって思いました。で、僕が思うに自信がないリーダーよりも自信あふれていけるいけるって言ったいうリーダーの方がチーム全員が自信あふれるかなって思って。今なんか。よかった。これを歌の時もやらないか。何回？あと6572回。一人も落ちずに行きたいっていう目標が僕の中であるので、今回は絶対1位を取って脱落者が誰も出ないようにしたいです。人生最後やと思って、後悔ないようにしてかまそう。
Because they can do it. This is the thing that like everybody knows, right? We all know it, but do they know it? They can do this. Like they can totally nail this, man. Although this is the most like nervous I've seen Tomoya. This is the most like I've seen him feel the pressure of it, kind of.
They wonder how my spotlight is so bright. Counting stars to pure and pure, 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 and pure, 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 and pure alone. That's me. Pure and pure, 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 and pure, pure, pure in my world. Every day, 빛깔 번져, 빛깔 번져, 빛깔 번져, 그 가슴이 돼. 빛깔 번져, 빛깔 번져, 빛이 번져 더 빛난 star. I feel like the brightest star. 쏟아지는 밤. 하늘을 바라보며 내 모습 수놓아져 있어. Yeah, yeah. 떨어지지 않고 한 자리에서 걷어나게 say hey yeah. 빛날 거의 사람은 그게 바로 우리 속의 말. We're special, yeah. 널긴 스텝 뒤에 뒤부터 부대. 스치 윙크 자체로 이걸 대표 무대. 모든 거는 단어 필요 없지 좋게. 절대 필요 없이 거리 풀대. Limited edition 특이한 것도 펴내줘. 두밀함을 분명 하게 바꾸 걸음 대세야. 눈에 튀는 텐션 몰입하는 개성. 백지 하나 같아 여기 모든 것을 밝혀. Counting stars. Every day, 빛깔 번져, 빛깔 번져, 빛깔 번져, 이 가슴에 대. 빛깔 번져, 빛깔 번져, 빛이 번져도 빛났어.
I kind of felt the intensity and the confidence even increasing as they, from the start right to the finish. Like they kind of got a little bit stronger actually as the stage went on, which means that they definitely learned how to manage that energy. Maybe they could have started with a little bit more, but I mean to not get into trouble where you run through the gas tank and you don't have anything left, right? One thing I will say, those rap sections, right, where like they had to deal with how do I pronounce all this stuff and get these rhythms right, because man, Stray Kids has a very unique sound, but they really nailed those parts. Like Miraku did really well on those lines. He didn't sound bad singing either. Sean was, man, like about the middle of the song, all of a sudden his lines were like really standing out as very, very good. The choreo was not bad. I mean, like, the energy and everything was there. The lines looked pretty good. The parts that, the kicks and like all those kind of big dynamic moves had a very good amount of energy, so that the contrast works as far as the overall choreography itself. Like the things that are supposed to pop have more pop in them. But it's Stray Kids songs are not easy because they're technically very specific. Even like the like that's such a dissonant, chromatic, descending line there. It's kind of weird, right? Like I remember the first time I heard S-Class, I was like, okay, this is cool, but it's really different. Like it's way out there, right? And Stray Kids does that. Like they do weird things. They do like unconventional things just because, they think it's fun and they can. And so that's what kind of makes it really challenging. But I actually think it was a very strong performance. There could be any number of technical things because of that nature of the song itself, what the stage kind of requires. So there could be some technically very specific things that, and JYP is going to know because it's Stray Kids and because he's seen them like from the start and all, you know what I mean? He knows, like, even as unique and original as they are, but he understands like where those finer points are. So I don't know what he's gonna say, but I thought it was very cool. I thought it was very strong. I thought the confidence level seemed to grow as they throughout the performance. It definitely felt very, very solid. By the time we were, into the verses and everything, by the sort of old school hip hop verse, right? The sort of it's like an old school beat, but a very new school sort of rap rhythm on it. And so, yeah, when they were like delivering those lines and those rhythms and everything, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, they're in it. Like they're in the vibe. They got it. So let's see. Oh, Yuki's vocals were great too, man.
감사합니다.
このパフォーマンスはメンバー同士の統一性が一番大事です。でもそれが足りないように見えます。足りないように見えます。多くの動きのタイミングとダンスのラインが少し合ってないです。少し合ってないです。그럼에도 불구하고 안무가 잘 맞았던 구간이 있어요. 쇼온 쿤이 노래를 하고 세 명이 춤출 때는 꽤 잘 맞았어요. 디테일이 나머지 세 명만큼 안 맞아요. 그 동작들의 느낌, 동작들의 각도, 타이밍이 쇼온 쿤이 약간 달라요. 쇼온 쿤은 驚くほど才能を間違いなく持っています. 근데 일본에서 내가 쇼쿤을 뽑을 때부터 약간 걱정했던 게 뭔가 팀의 일원으로서 다른 사람들과 뭐를 정확하게 맞춰서 하는 걸 잘할 수 있을까? 약간 너무 자유로워 보였다고 할까? 근데 그게 지금 결국엔 여기까지 와서도 비슷한 문제가 보이는 것 같아요. 유키쿤니와 僕が中間チェック時踊る時メリヤリ強弱をお願いしましたけどそれをために努力したことが見えるけどまだ少し足りないです。少し足りないです。そのメリヤリ強弱が足りないことがチームの統一性に悪い影響を与えました。ミラク君には踊るとき体が少し固まるように見えることを指摘した。それを直してきたのように見えます。パフォーマートモヤは素晴らしかったです。でもリーダートモヤは少し残念ですね。チームワークと統一性が足りない理由は何だと思いますか？
振りが合ってないとおっしゃったんですけど、僕たちは
Yeah, he's feeling it.
僕たちなりにディテールとかを本当に毎日頑張って他のチームに負けたくないってのが大きくてやったんですけど、やっぱ練習量は僕たちでは後悔ないくらい本当に頑張ったんで後悔はないです。次もしチャンスがあればもっと振り合わせるだったりそういう部分を特に頑張らないといけないなって思います。
お疲れ様でした。
ありがとうございました。頑張って輝き大丈夫。
ごめんな。ごめんが一番やばいわ。大丈夫。でも最高のリードやったと思うで。これは友達じゃないとあかんかったけど。ほら頑張って。頑張って。お疲れ。お疲れ。
It's true. And it's important, you know, it's everything right now, but they did work hard, as hard as they could. That's fair. You can't, you know what I mean? They did the best they could.
素晴らしかったです。素晴らしかったです。おー。이게 2위 팀, 3위 팀 같아요. 네. でも個人の順位は 제일 돋보였던 거 얘가 제일 돋보였고 많이 좋아졌어. 진짜 좋아졌어. 이게 맞는 순위 같지?
오케이.
이렇게 했던 것 같아.
So obviously, I think the 2 p.m. team is going to be first, you know, and then Yui's team is going to be second. I mean, it's pretty evident, you know what I mean? Like just based off of the way the stages went, what the team ranking is going to be. At the individual, that's going to be really interesting, though.
では1チームと個人の順位を発表します。1チームは全員がキューブをもらえてファイナルミッションに進むことになります。おめでとうございます。ハットハンター、ハットハンター。
ありがとうございます。ありがとうございます。
As expected, yes. Yes. As a team, they expressed the concept of the song and the performance almost perfectly. I mean, there's not much more you could do, right? It was that good. So they earned the first place.
ありがとうございました。
There's no debating that.
Niチームはオールファーワンです。3位はスターキッズです。みんなお疲れ様でした。では個人の順位を発表します。
もしかしたら日本に帰ることになるかもしれないというそういう運命がかかった一戦で、
後がないのでラストチャンスなので。
Oh man.
個人の順位1位はまたですね、ハルくん。またですね、ハルくん。
すごくびっくりしました。2回1位を取ることって本当に難しいことじゃないですか。夢だったデビューをできるように頑張りたいと思います。
個人の順位2位はともやくんです。ともやくんです。切ってください。
はい。
パフォーマーとしてはという部分で褒めてもらったのは嬉しかったんですけど、また申し訳ないっていう、またリーダーとして自信がもっとなくなったって感じです。
3位ユイ。
That's what I thought. Yeah.
ユイくん。
Yeah.
切ってください。
He really stood out. Had a really good performance. Man. That's. I was almost expecting him to take like second. You know.
4位はセイタくん。
はい。
5位はユくん。6位はケンくん。
Makes sense.
7位はH くん。切ってください。
ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
8位はユキくん。切ってください。ユキくん切ってください。
ございます。ございます。
体の力を育てるべきです。わかりますか？はい。ありがとうございます。
残念ですけど、キューブをもらえるメンバーは
Wow, an odd number.
9位までです。9位までです。
Yeah.
最後にキューブをもらえる9位は、
脱落するって考えたらちょっと怖いんですけど、
正直毎回キューブもらえてなくてちょっとあんまりいい順位ではないので、そういった部分ではすごい心配ではあります。
ミラコくんです。切ってください。ミラコくんです。切ってください。
Wow.
Otto頑張ってください。나머지 3명도 정말 열심히 해준 거 알아요. 정말 고맙고 여기까지 왔다는 건 분명히 특별한 재능이 있다는 얘기입니다. 그러니 절대 용기를 잃지 말고 계속 열심히 해줬으면 좋겠습니다.
와우.
산내와 오츠카레 사마 데시타.
ございました。お疲れ。ありがとう。頑張って頑張って頑張って。頑張った。泣くつもりなかったけど。お疲れちゃん。
타이가, 션. 너무 고생 많이 했어. 타이가 너무 고생 많이 했어. 분명히 좋은 기회가 다시 올 거야. 그리고 너희가 이때까지 고생한 걸 알고 타이가 특히 네가 얼마나 오랫동안 여기 연습했는지 너무 잘 알아. 진짜 좋은 기회가 많이 있을 거야. 내 말 믿어, 알겠지? 너무 고생 많이 했어.
濃くて早い1年だったなって思います。
僕にとってニジプロジェクトとは世界へ羽ばたくアーティストの道のりを少し経験させていただいたなって思ってます。
マジで応援してるから。ありがとう。本当ごめん。私もってなかったね。俺が何もでしてあげれんやった。俺が悪い。マジ頑張って。ごめんな。
本当に一番デビューしたかった人とデビューできないってのはすごい悲しいんですけど。
そうだよ、おかげで俺はここまで来れたんだが。ありがとうございます。ごめん、本当。そうだよ、もう絶対どっかで会おうね、また。頑張ろう。
またどっかで出会えると思うし、死ぬまで歌いたいなと思います。
集まれ。
グローバルボーイズグループ誕生のためのニジプロジェクトシーズン2ファイナルステージ
JYP の未来を担う最終メンバーを決めるべきです。
夢を叶えるためにデビューしたいです。
Man, that's a big cut, right? To have 3 people eliminated right at this point, but it is coming down to the wire, or it's coming down to the end, and it's hard to imagine Sodai not making it, right? Because he was one of the trainees in the beginning and was so strong and had all this promise, you know, like, I mean, you never, like, you don't see it going this way. Like at that point in the series, you don't see this arc where we get to this point and Sodai doesn't make it. You don't see it coming. Not from that, beginning, right? Sure, about halfway through, you start to see some of the problems come up, some of the issues, and it's like, oh man, you want him to turn it around, and and he does well. I mean, it's one of the things about it is that there's still so much improvement and growth and learning that happens, and you have so much momentum I hope these guys understand it's not just the singing, the dancing, but your physical condition, your connections to, there's so much that comes from this, right? That you can absolutely parlay into a way to get ahead and to keep going down the path, right? I mean, just look at Gina from the A2K series. It's possible, man. Like, it's possible, and especially the strength that you develop from the series like this. Taiga, another the other trainee who has a lot of potential, and you see this kid get sharper, and you see him get better, right? You see him get leaner, he literally became this chiseled figure, he's got this great potential, right? And man, it's and for a long time now, certainly since the Korean portion of the series, right? I've been saying my biggest level of concern was for Taiga because of the consistency in a lot of the same issues coming up. These are things you need to fix, and it's taking just a little bit too long to fix them, And this is that point, right, where it hasn't gotten there yet. It just hasn't gotten there. So as hard as it is, it's okay, man. Sean is, I think, the most interesting case, right? Because he's got so many good qualities, right? He's a really interesting dude. And he does have this incredible level of talent. But he's I get what JYP's talking about as far as in the team, being in a group and being in a team. Sean's got such an original take on things. Yeah, all of his expression and everything. It's so original. And this was one of the things that in the beginning that really struck me was his dance styles, and these were very original. There is a lot of sort of classical elements to it, but his own expression of it is very unique, man. It's quite different. And so I think ultimately there's the gap that needs to be closed is for Sean's originality, his own. It's a creative spirit that's very strong. This is not a question about his talent, but is he able to get from that to what the the group needs would be, right? Like to function effectively in a group. And I think that that's ultimately what causes the lack of unity, the just when you feel like somebody's on a different wavelength, somebody's on a different vibe, you know, and it's not quite, you know, grooving with the rest of the group. And it's such a specific thing that you know, because Sean has, like I said, a very, very unique talent. Like his vocals have improved incredibly over the show, man, from the start to where he is now. Oh man, like he's really, really awesome with some of the vocal work, man. And his dance, though, the way he moves is very, very specific to Sean. Even the sports day, even the day where they were doing all of those, you know, the wacky sort of competitions and all that, like that dude moves differently. He's built different, you know what I mean? So it's a very strong point, but it's also one that comes at a cost. So I think ultimately that's what that came down to. But you know, his case is the most interesting case with all things considered, man. But it's an incredible, I mean, you have 12, right? And then 3 get cut, and it's a massive hit, man. But compared to other series, right? Like if you look at the first season of Nizi Project, there was like a couple of cuts along the way, right? And then when you finally get to the end, you know, there's a couple that don't actually make the final group. And with A2K was the same thing at the end. You know, there was 3 that didn't make it, though there were a couple of cuts along the way. And what I kept, you know, hoping for was that we get the most participants all the way through to the end. And I think that actually is what happened, because like they avoided elimination all the way up until now. Like, I mean, this pretty much is the end, you know what I mean? And if they hadn't gotten eliminated here, it would have happened at the conclusion of the next, you know, stage performances. Like it was on course for that. There's not really any way to change that. But man, you never would have imagined that Sodai, you know, with all the confidence that he came out with in the beginning, and now you get to hear, and it's just like, wow, dude, I didn't think that he would get cut like that. You know, Taiga, like I said, along the way, it was like, okay, he still got better. Everybody got better. Like, these guys worked so hard, super, super hard. And that shows in themselves. So they got better, and they know they got better, right? We know they got better. But these, you know how the first week, they call it a boot camp, right? The reality is, the whole series is a conditioning experience. From the start all the way to the finish, it should be considered a boot camp, right? As somebody who went to boot camp when I was young, you know, it was like 13 weeks. It's 3 months, right? It's not just 1 week. That's just the beginning. That's just to get in, right? But it's all this time to get, like, the whole thing. It's the whole entire thing until the end when the group is decided on. It's all boot camp, and the pressures of it are there to make the best performer, right? To render the absolute best. It's like making diamonds. You need to put pressure. You need to exert a lot of pressure, and then what'll happen is it'll crystallize and be this perfect iteration of itself. And that's the point. That's what is still going on up until now. And it'll even continue for a while afterwards as a new group, right? You don't just become perfect like right away. There's continued growth, continued development, continued building of that group unity. Like once we're at the final arrangement for the group members, they will have to begin in earnest practicing, getting new songs, you know what I mean? And it's still very much the same, right? So, and they're going to have to manage to come together and coalesce as a group and have that very high level of performance and that group sort of unity, that cohesion that needs to be there. It's going to take a while. It doesn't just happen like because the show ends, right? That's not the way this goes. But man, it's always difficult, you know. But this is a big hit, right? You're right at the end. And oh my goodness, it feels kind of weird, right? Because it's an odd number. I mean, if I'm going off of the past shows, we're gonna come down to two groups, right? If we're moving towards the finale now, towards that last round of stage performances, we're gonna come down to two groups, and they're going to I mean, it's an odd number, so one has to be 4, one has to be 5, right? I mean, you could do 6 and 3, but that's kind of weird, right? It's kind of like that's not the distribution you want. You want to have 4 and you want to have 5, and then they're gonna get the one song in common, the original JYP written, you know, song that both groups will perform, and then there's going to be 2 more songs by JYP, one for this group and one for that group. And, you know, they'll do the compare and contrast between those performances of those songs. And so, oh my goodness. I'm thinking about it, and I think that the final number of this group is probably going to be either 5 or 7. I don't know if all 9 of them are going to make it. I just, you know, I think your absolute strongest performers will probably get through. But I wouldn't be surprised if this group ends up having like 5 members, maybe 7, you know. So I think there will be like a couple more who don't make it all the way through to the end. And just the whole way, it's been super close because everybody's so good. That's what makes it such a close competition. Everybody's so good, man. And this is going to be very all the way down to the end, man. It is going to be super close and super competitive, like all the way to the end, which is what I anticipated. That's exactly how I expected this to go. And man, but Sodai and Taiga and Sean definitely shouldn't give up. Like, they shouldn't give up at all. Sean, I can easily see Sean as a solo performer. Yeah, he'd be great in a group, but like I'm saying, his originality, his own thing, I could see him being like a solo performer. And Sodai, if he wants to lean into singing, I can definitely see him as a vocalist, right? Even a solo vocalist performer. Those are things they definitely could see them doing, right? Like they can do that. And Taiga, man, he's so close, you know what I mean? I don't know if he'd want to go a group route, but he's like so on the verge of closing that gap of crossing that threshold and really being quite an amazing performer. But I hope they don't give up, man. That's the biggest thing, right? I hope they don't give up, and they because they can get somewhere, man. They can get somewhere, right? Even if it's like being a backup dancer or something like that, like that's still really cool. I mean, how many people get to be backup dancers? You know, I'm like, especially for if you want to do like a K-pop groups or something like that, you think of like who you're on stage with. If you're on stage with like Twice or Stray Kids or, you know what I mean? Like these groups that you're on stage with are really impressive. So even if you're one of the guys in the back, right, backup dancing, that's still really awesome, man. It's you get to share the stage. And kind of like without even all the pressures, you know what I mean? Because like what you do is pretty relegated to what it has to be, and it just makes everything better, right? So, man, these guys can totally make it in their own respects. I just hope they don't give up, man. I just hope they don't give up. Please don't give up. But oh my goodness, that's an incredible blow. That's a lot of damage, man. And I don't know. We'll see. I think, like I said, this group will probably be somewhere around 5 to 7 members, and only the absolute best are going to make it through to that final cut. And that's the way it's supposed to go. That's what it's supposed to be. But I know trust me, I know a lot of people are like really, really crushed that Sean doesn't make it past this point. I get it. Yeah, I understand. This one guy that you really root for, right, is Sean, and it's bad. So I know, I understand, I do. But he can do it. If anybody can do it like on his own, is Sean. He's got a very original take on things, and he could be a solo artist on his own. So we'll see what the future holds. But oh man, from here on out, it's for keeps. This is like as we progress now. This last round is it's for all the marbles, man. It's for the whole thing. So expect really, really good performances. They're going to be like top tier for sure.